The next bill on the agenda is House File 1908. Is Representative Lillie with us? I see him on the list here. Representative
Yes, I am,
Lillie.
Mr. Chair.
Fantastic. Great to see you. Great to see you again. And I will move that House File 1908 be re-referred to the General Register. We're sending lots of bills to the General Register today, members. Please tell us about House File 1908.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and members of the Transportation Finance Committee for hearing House File 1908 today. This bill contains a number of changes to the bicycle traffic regulations, and the goal of the language is to bring the statutes regarding bicycle traffic into alignment with the corresponding statutes for vehicle traffic. And last biennium, the bill was able to pass the House floor 120 to 22 to nothing, and Representative Bernardi led it down the path to success. So I'm not really sure why I'm here. She should still be carrying it, but it's a great bill and pretty straightforward. But today with me I have Mr. Riley from the Bicycle Alliance, and hopefully if he can get into more details of the bill. One of the things I like about the bill is that it kind of covers both things of bicycle and road vehicle rights, but also responsibilities, because this is a two-way thing, and to me that's I think a really good thing to consider. But please, if you'd like to hear, or if you're willing to hear from my presenter, Mr. Chair, could pass to him now, that'd be great.
Thank you, Representative Lillie. And as we traditionally do, we'll hear testimony and then we'll open it up for questions to the author and the testifiers. So our first testifier, as Representative Lillie, as Chair Lillie mentioned, is Dorian Grilly. Mr. Grilly is the Executive Director of the Bicycle Alliance of Minnesota. Welcome back to the committee, Mr. Grilly.
Thank you, Chair Hornstein, members of the committee. My name is Dorian Grilly. I work for the Bicycle Alliance of Minnesota. And thank you, Representative Lillie, or Chair Lillie and Chair Bernardi, for making this happen this year and in 2019. It's exactly the same bill that passed in 2019. Many of the changes were recommended to us as best practices by the National Conference of State Legislatures. Just real quickly, sections 1 and 3 centralizes and makes consistent the definition of bikeway in both chapter 160 and 169. They were slightly different. Sections 2 and 6 modify the meaning of bicycle lanes so that all bike lanes are considered part of the roadway, and that is the main traveled portion of the road and not the shoulder, which is the contiguous portion of the road that is not traveled upon except by bicycles and other slow-moving vehicles, and in some cases buses. This is necessary because not all traffic laws apply to those operating on the shoulder. So we wanted to make sure that we were consistent between the shoulder and the roadway for operation of a bicycle. Section 6 further clarifies that traffic laws apply to those riding on the shoulder, in a crosswalk on a shoulder, and that bicycles in a crosswalk have the rights and duties of a pedestrian. Section 5 resolves the differences between Minnesota Statute 169.18 subdivisions 3 and 5 and makes them consistent in saying that the passing distance when overtaking bicycles requires at least 3 feet or half the vehicle's width when passing. The half the vehicle's width when passing was something you agreed to and passed a couple years ago, and it was just a technicality that it didn't get done in subdivision 3 and 5 at the same time. It also contains various technical cleanup to to modernize the language that was suggested by Mr. Burris. And section 7 changes the poorly understood as far to the right as practicable to as far to the right as safe, as the bicycle operator determines is safe. And it also makes it legal for bicyclists to proceed straight through an intersection from a right-hand turn lane. And not that anybody's being ticketed or arrested for riding straight through a right-hand turn lane, but technically it is illegal. And I live near and ride frequently on a busy county road with a 10-foot shoulder. The shoulder turns into a right turn lane for many quiet residential streets. It just doesn't make sense to pull out into the driving lane and block the 45-mile-an-hour traffic each time there's a right turn lane. As I said, I'm not getting ticketed, but the issue is that if someone passes me and turns right into me, or someone coming in the other direction turns left and hits me, it would be my fault. So as previously noted, this was recommended by the Conference of State Legislatures, and it is law in several other states. So that's my comments, and I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Lillie, and thank you for all of your advocacy over the years on bicycle safety and infrastructure. Representative Petersburg, would it be possible, we have one more testifier, I see your hand up, but I thought we would call on Ross Pleitzer first, and then we can go to questions. Is Mr. Pleitzer here? I know he also submitted some written testimony as well.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, welcome to the committee, Mr. Pleitzer. Please state your name for the record.
Right. Ross Pleitzer. Thank you, Chair and members. I'm very pleased to see this bill. We have waited for it for a long time. I think the committee knows our bicycle laws in Minnesota are fairly recent, first really being written in 1978, and then again in 1995. And then the last time was 2013 when Representative Kahn's bill was made part of the Senate omnibus bill. So we don't get many chances to do this, but as we know, bicycling has increased in its popularity. It's everywhere. Chair, you'll know that I live, if I tell you I live in Morningside on Sunnyside Road, what a busy road that is for bicyclists most of the year, but especially now when the warm weather comes out through the first real frost. So I've seen a lot of different things. My only suggestion for the bill is the distance in passing. The previous testifier said that it was already put into law in one section as 3 feet, or half the distance of the hood, basically. We didn't have a distance requirement in Minnesota until 1995. It's been 3 feet since that time. Several countries around the world have led the way on this. The problem with 3 feet, it's not enough. The problem with the hood of a car or the width of a car, the average width of a car in the United States is 6.3 feet. So you're really saying 3 feet or 3 feet and 1.5 inches. What a lot of countries have done, including the Netherlands, a lot of biking there, the United Kingdom and Australia, is link up distance with speed. For instance, in the United States, the equivalent would be at 30 miles an hour, you give 3 feet. Anything over 30, you give 5 feet. I don't think people realize how close 3 feet is to a bicyclist or a individual pedestrian, and this includes pedestrians in our law here. 3 feet would be a terrifying distance at 30 miles an hour for most people biking and walking. Most people will normally give more, but I think it needs to be written in anything over 30. We should give 5 feet because the extra risk of harm and possibly death is so much greater at that point. The other thing it allows when you have a set distance, and I've seen this in signs in Europe, is you can put up informational signs with a picture of a car, a picture of a bicycle, and draw a line between them, which says there 1.5 meters, here 5 feet. I really think we need to educate citizens that they need to give more leeway to people than 3 feet. It's not a safe distance even at 30. It's ingrained in the statute, but we need to go beyond that for over 30. The other thing that the bill doesn't do, and a couple states have said this, and I drive to and from work every day down a frontage road on Highway 169. It's a 2-lane road. It's got curbs on both sides. It's got no sidewalks, and parking's a lot on one side. So there's always a challenge with a bicyclist. Do I speed up and go around with an oncoming car? Do I wait, or do I try to squeeze through? And if you try to squeeze through, you're going to have a real problem because you can't give enough distance. So I think we need to add something that says when there's not enough roadway to comply with the 3, or I suggest 5-foot distance, then we really need to say you have to wait. Let the bicyclist pass the car until it's safe to you to give 3 or 5 feet. That's not in the law. It's in the law in, I think, Oregon and Washington. I do think that both of these improvements are good for bicyclists. They're not a big impediment for cars, and the push in bicycling laws for equality of the roadway, I think, would really be enhanced by these 2 changes. So I would respectfully suggest these 2 to the committee, plus changing the existing 3-foot law to 3 feet at 30 miles per hour and 5 feet at anything over 30 miles per hour. And it's been proven in Europe, Australia, England, and I really think it would be a wise thing for our Minnesota drivers and bicyclists to have as well here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pletzer. With that, members, I think that concludes our testimony. I did want to note that MnDOT staff are on hand for questions if there are questions of the agency. So I have 2 hands up so far. First, Representative Petersburg, and then Representative Elkins. Representative Petersburg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for bringing this bill forward. I think we always need to maintain updating our laws. I have just a minor question, just a clarification question. On line 3.31, it talks about when approaching from behind, that to give an audible signal. And I've been walking on trails and other things, and I hear people will come behind me and say, coming on the left, usually. And so that helps me. So I'm assuming that, well, most of the time we think of audible signals maybe being a small squeeze horn or a bell, but I'm assuming that audible signal would also include verbal signal, and that we would probably not expect it to be an air horn, because I could tell you if somebody came up from behind me with an air horn, I would have wished I had some clean underwear along. But is that my perception correct in that interpretation?
Thank you, Representative Petersburg. To the author, maybe Mr. Grilli, who would like to take that question?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe that is my understanding, but I'll pass to Mr. Grilli.
Mr. Chair, Representative Petersburg, that is my understanding too.
Okay.
It's a very good
Representative
question.
Petersburg, a follow-up or?
No, just thank you, and I plan on supporting the bill. I just want to make sure that on record we have kind of an interpretation of what that means. So thank you.
Good question. Thank you. Representative Elkins.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank the testifiers for presenting. I also am a frequent road biker, including Sunnyside Road in Edina, which is on my route from Bloomington to the Minneapolis Lakes. But this is definitely a much needed update to these laws, and very welcome. I will be supporting the bill.
Thank you. An avid biker on our committee, Representative Elkins. Joins Representative Lillie as an avid biker. Okay, members, I don't see any further questions. So Representative Lillie, did you want to have any summary or closing comments on House File 1908?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, members. And again, thank you, Representative Bernardi. You clearly did a lot of the base work with your committee here and on this issue, and thank you for that. I also did hear the gentleman that spoke, and I'm open to listening to those as we are. This is going to be going through the Senate as well, and we can come up with a good plan to incorporate that if that's possible at this point, or because we obviously want to keep it safe out there for everyone involved. Again, Mr. Chair, thank you. I know you've turned into quite the bike rider. We're driving all the way from Minneapolis to the Capitol. I'm pretty impressed. You get some pretty good points for that. But no, thank you. As spring comes, and we've seen with COVID, people are out on the roads and definitely wanting to use them, and we want everybody to be safe and and this will go a long way to helping that. So thank you, Mr. Chair, members.
Thank you so much, Chair Lillie and Chair Bernardi, for your work over the years on this. And hopefully we have another. It's very rare these days that we get any bill on the floor that is passed unanimously. So let's hope for that result again as we head to the general register. And I will renew my motion that House File 1908 be re-referred to the general register. And Mr. Dodge, please take the roll.
Chair Hornstein,
Aye.
Hornstein, aye. Vice Chair Cagle,
Aye.
Cagle, aye. Representative Petersburg,
Aye.
Petersburg, aye. Representative Barr,
Aye.
Barr, aye. Representative Bernardi,
Aye.
Bernardi, aye. Representative Elkins,
Aye.
Elkins, aye. Representative Frederick,
Aye.
Frederick, aye. Representative Hausman,
Aye.
Hausman, aye. Representative Heinrich,
Heinrich, aye.
Heinrich, aye. Representative Kosnick,
Aye.
Kosnick, aye. Representative Mason,
Aye.
Mason, aye. Representative Murphy,
Murphy, aye.
Murphy, aye. Representative Nelson,
Aye.
Nelson, aye. Representative Olson,
Aye.
Olson, aye. Representative Richardson,
Aye.
Richardson, aye. Representative Torkelson,
Torkelson, aye.
Torkelson, aye. Representative West,
West, aye.
West, aye. There are 17 ayes and 0 nays.
There being 17 ayes and 0 nays, House File 1908 is on its way to the general register. Thank you, Representative Lillie and members.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members.
Thank you.